If you're a younger minister, I do not want you to get caught up in these truths and take them back and storm your church without love. I would make one suggestion. See to it that your knees are bleeding before you begin any sort of reformation. And if you are an older minister serving the Lord for many, many years, I beg you not to be arrogant. An old foolish king can learn from the weakest of his servants. And also I beg you this. Have the courage to change everything. Even if it is the last day of your life. At least you can go into glory knowing that you attempted a reformation that was biblical. And I say this as a warning to the older men. Now listen to me carefully. I know the admonition in 1 Timothy chapter 5 of the way I am to address you, and so I address you this way. But there is a great awakening going on in this country. And not only in this country, in Europe where I have been, and in South America and many other places, I see young men going back to the rocks from which we were cut. They are reading Spurgeon and Whitfield. They're still listening to Ravenhill and Martin Lloyd-Jones and Tozer and Wesley. And it's a great, incredible movement. Just because popular media and Christianity today hasn't discovered what's going on, I want you to know that I would have never dreamed 15 years ago that I would see the awakening I'm seeing. Not through my ministry, but as I go to different places and see what God is doing without any of our ministries. Whether it's Holland, 1,000 young men declaring things have to change. Crying out all night in prayer for the power of God and the truth of Scripture. Or South America, recognizing that they've been so influenced by psychology and all sorts of superficial techniques coming from America with regard to evangelism, and now weeping and broken are going back and evangelizing their churches. Or the inner city of the United States, where I have sat up at times till 2 and 3 in the morning discussing theology with young African Americans in the hood, whom God is going to raise up to do more preaching than anyone will ever be able to imagine on this day. There is an awakening. And I'm going to say this with tenderness. Most men over 40 don't even have a clue about it. Many of the young people who are turning back to the old men and the old ways and the truths that have brought awakening time and time again in this world. Most of these young men are quite young. And they'll go to their pastors, they'll go to their leaders and say, look at this, what we've discovered. Look what happened in Wales. Look what happened in Africa. Look at this and look at that and look at this teaching. It's absolutely amazing. And most of them will either turn it away or say, it's nothing any different than what I've been preaching for 25 years, when in fact it is completely different than what they have been preaching in 25 years. And so we need to be very, very careful to understand that God is doing work. And He who began a good work will finish it. Many people have the idea that they're going to pray in a revival. And other people say revival will come whether you pray or not. I'm not in either one of those camps. But I know this. When I see men and women and young people all over the world praying for an awakening, to me, that is the first fruits of revival. And I can count on the fact that He who gave those first fruits will bring in the full harvest.